Okay, we all good to go?
Is everybody coming in now? Are they ready?
Doesn't look like they're here yet.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's just Jeff. Is Lindsay coming as well?
Lindsay said she just texted me. She said she was on. So here's the thing: is it streaming? Is it on the link right now?
No, not yet.
So do you have a button you can push when we're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say to you, I tried calling. Jay's not available and Rick's not picking up. But can you just
Yeah, I'm gonna watch on the YouTube end to make sure it's fine.
can you? I'm just gonna be nervous. Can you shoot me a text and just say, "Hey, we're good,"
Yeah.
or I get rolling because I'm worried we're gonna get 2 minutes in and
Yeah. No, we'll be fine.
I'm just text. Justin Kwan, a little nervous here, buddy. A little nervous.
Why's that?
Because I got a jibber jabber. I got a little spiel to make here. I just figured I
Oh,
want to kill a few minutes just to like get it. So I was like writing a little speech and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to be reading off it. So I'm a little nervous about that too, because I'm like, what if I it just looks like I'm reading, but hopefully it goes good. I think it will.
yeah, it'll be fine. So yeah, you're gonna be talking, bringing Jeff, do a little talk, then he's gonna go into his presentation. You come back, Q&A, and then that's it.
Yeah. I just, so I'm clear, when I leave, I'm just going to like erase my
Just hide
video.
hide your screen, mute yourself.
So when you say hide my screen, I just stop video, right?
So yeah, stop video and then mute. Just
Okay. Got it.
lower bottom. Yeah.
And then I'm going to come on and ask a few questions from the coaches.
Yeah.
And we're recording this.
Yeah.
So I think we got this teed up. We will know in a couple weeks, but I think we're going to get to do something like this with Travis Green with BC Hockey
Okay.
and Dean Evanson, or Dean Evanson in Minnesota, maybe with Paul Maurice in Winnipeg still.
That's awesome.
So that'd be fun. So I asked for like them to submit 3 to 5 questions.
Yeah.
And they submitted like 97.
I know I wasn't sure how that was gonna work, so I added at the bottom of the blog post that you could submit questions under the YouTube, but then I guess that doesn't really matter. So
Yeah, that's. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry, we'll get there. Will you have to let Blash in, or does he just log in and show up?
just has to use the same link. Okay, we're pretty much ready to go. So once Jeff is here, can go over the setup quickly and then be live at 12.
Okay. Are we able to track on YouTube how many people are tuning in?
Yes, it should say at the bottom. You said we're expecting around 2,000?
Well, I don't know. Like they're sending this out, so I have no idea. Assuming kids are gonna hopefully lots, but
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe just keep track of that, or if you see it, because it's just see if it's going up and maybe sort of pick it at the high mark.
Yeah. Will do.
Hey,
Hey, Lindsay.
it says it's streaming live, but it's not actually, is it?
No, it's not up yet. Don't worry.
Just sifting through a couple hundred questions from high school players here, trying to pick out the top ones. A lot of people are interested on how to be an NHL player. Hopefully we can provide that. Lindsay, any snow to shovel today?
No snow, hence my lack of toque.
I think I
Did you
got
guys lose me?
No, we're good.
Oh, we got you.
Okay. Wow, just joke didn't hit.
There we go.
And I did just message Blash.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, I think we're good. Cancel that. All righty.
Look at another minute and I'll call.
Lindsay, that's a good little, is that your home office?
Yeah, it's my home office.
You know what? I'm assuming that's a fake tree or plant in the background, but I actually feel like over COVID it's growing. Maybe that's just like a placebo effect of some kind, but
I think it is. I was gonna be like, did I put it in a new pot? But no, it's hit its max capacity straight out of the box.
got it.
This tree has been a lot of places though. It moved to California with me.
You moved the tree to California?
Yeah, it came on the truck out there. There we go.
Here we go.
Prompt.
In time.
Coach, how are you?
Well, you?
I'm doing good. So, Jeff, how many times in the last 8 months have you scribbled your potential lineup on the whiteboard in your office?
Well, I honestly scribbling start dates has been the biggest thing. So
Oh, I
I
bet.
just want a date.
I can imagine. Sounds like it's still ways away from being sorted out. And now, how's the? I've heard great reviews about the new barn, but I haven't been to Detroit in a while. What's like I hear like the downtown core and all that's all kind of been revitalized and is a pretty cool scene now.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, so I grew up in Michigan, but I've been here 6 years. I've known Detroit my whole life. in the last 6 years, it's amazing the difference, to be dead honest with you. Like the Woodward, the main road here in Detroit's like 1,000 times better than it was. It's actually a pretty cool town. It's not Michigan Avenue in Chicago yet, but it's trending that way. There's a bunch of cool stores and tons of good restaurants. And like I bring my family down, we go, you know, there's a Christmas tree, there's a you know, so like it's way better, way better. So it's coming. I mean, Detroit's a big land mass, so there's always going to be parts of Detroit that, you know, like any city are rough, but it's coming for sure.
That's awesome.
I just hope this doesn't crush it, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm
We were
sure-
headed the right direction big time, and so I hope the money doesn't run dry. We'll see.
Well, I hope not. I know obviously lots of places are struggling with that.
Well, the stock market just keeps going up here. Doesn't matter what happens. The stock market
It's
just
the
keeps
weirdest.
going up.
It's been the weirdest thing through all this.
It's unbelievable.
I can put my finance hat back on from the first 12 years of my career and explain to you why, but we've only got like 30 seconds till you're up, so I'll
tell
save
you
it for
after.
another time.
Well,
I'll
Flash
call
runs
you
out of
after
gas,
because
so bring it on.
I kind of want it to go down. I got money I want to put into it, so I'll call you after and figure out when this thing's dropping.
Yeah, you should have done that back in April.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hide myself and mute myself.
Hey, Lindsay, I don't know if you can still hear me. If you
I can, yep.
Okay, so hey, do you mind just, and I think Justin's doing the same thing, but when we're rolling here, so I told him that we're gonna kind of turn things on at 3:02 Eastern, and I'll chat for like, I think 3 minutes, and then I'll pass it over to Jeff. But can you just shoot me a text and say like, hey, we're good, or throw me a thumbs up?
Yeah, like when it's live, just to let you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
so I know when you can see my face, I can start yakking.
Yeah, it's good. You know what? I can always stay on this too because I just saw the live recording on YouTube flip over and it doesn't show my camera. So I can keep this open, or I might just drop off. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Justin,
either's fine.
Is it on the link right now? Like, is my face shown or?
Nope, not
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
I have it rated. Well, the YouTube is live, but it's not on the webpage yet. So once you guys are ready, I'll hit save on the webpage and then it'll be up.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. So you guys all good to go?
Yeah, I'm all set. I'm just gonna.
Do you guys want Blash to get his screen up or is he doing that after? I just want to do a quick test to make sure it goes okay.
Yeah, maybe when he gets back, perfect. Or when Jeff sits
Yeah.
back.
You want me to share screen?
No, we'll just go. We'll start. If you just want to maybe turn your camera off in a sec here when we get rolling. Then when I introduce you, just turn it on and you're all set. And then you can share your screen.
Okay.
Perfect.
I was going to say before you guys flip live, you might want him just test one more time to make sure that he can share his screen.
It's a good call. Jeff, do we want to do that? Just maybe turn your camera back on.
Got it? You got it?
Yeah.
That looks good. Yeah. And maybe just play a video real quick.
Fuck. This is an issue here. So why is it like this? Okay, hold on a sec. Why not share screen? I've never had that before in my life.
Blash, I can see it's in presenter mode.
Oh, there we go. We're moving.
There you go. You got it.
No,
Yeah. Maybe just crank the volume for a quick sec there, and then we'll get rolling.
when I shared it, I didn't share it the right way, guys. So I'll have to share it again. So
He was very inconsistent.
Okay, I heard a little volume come through. So are we good now? I think we're good.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, I'm hopping off. I'll text you, Aaron, to say it's good from the front end.
Okay, amazing. Thanks, Lindsay.
Good luck, guys. Thanks again, Blash. Bye.
Yep.
Okay, Jeff, can you just mute yourself as well? Okay, Aaron.
Ready to
Good
go?
live. I'll give you I'll text you a thumbs up when you're ready.
Okay, beauty. Hey, Justin, can you hear me audio right now?
Yeah, just one sec. The website's crashing for some reason.
Like our coaches site website?
Yeah,
Oh no.
so I don't know.
I bet it's because we have too many people on it.
One sec.
So it's weird.
Yeah, the site's not loading. I don't know. You text Lindsay and just see if it's live on her end.
No, she just texted me and said it's not. And I'm getting texts now. The coaches are texting me. Shit.
Yeah, that link isn't working.
Oh shit. Hey, can we put it on YouTube then?
It is on YouTube, so if they're
I don't have can you send me the link from YouTube so I can send that to everybody?
Yeah. Maybe just hide your screen to start. Yeah, I think we'll have to go through the YouTube link, unfortunately.
Okay, can you flip that to me right away?
Yeah, I just sent it.
Fuck, why won't this
Okay, just watch, because if you're sharing that link, then people are going to be on there. No one's
okay.
on yet.
I don't know. I'm just struggling for some reason. It's not copy and pasting. Oh, there we go. Got it.
Yeah, I think we're having, it's too many people on our site, so it's causing it to crash. We don't usually have that many.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. So who did you send that to?
I sent it to one of the coaches who's going to flip it to everybody else. And I'm just waiting for him to say, hey, like we're good.
Okay.
But what I might do is I might just obviously, hold on. Just asking Lindsay if she can.
just let her know that the website. Well, I guess she can hear me actually.
Okay. All right. Why don't you drop off? And I'm just going to turn my camera on.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it a few minutes here. Mute yourself, Justin. All right, here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron Wilbur, founder and CEO of the Coaches Site, and I want to welcome all of you, players and coaches from the Michigan High School Hockey Association. First off, I apologize for the technical glitch. It turns out our website just wasn't equipped to have that much traffic at one time, which is a good problem to have, and appreciate everybody shifting over to our YouTube link. For all the players tuning in, you're probably wondering, why am I on a hockey coaching website? And that's a fair question. And the reason is, this season, we have formed a partnership with the Michigan High School Coaches Association, which we're really proud of. And so the goal of our organization is to have a positive influence on the environment and development opportunity that players enjoy when they come to the rink. And the way that we do this is by providing a platform for the game's top coaches and leaders, like the one you're about to hear from, to share their experience and insights with coaches at the amateur and grassroots level. And the reason we're here today is because one of your coaches, Ryan Ossemacher of Salem High, reached out to me a few weeks ago and said that your season had been put on pause again, and that the season overall has been a real roller coaster, and everyone, especially you guys, the players, are frustrated, and fair enough. So he asked if there was anything we could do to offer a little positivity and some inspiration. And fortunately, we're lucky to have a great relationship with the NHL Coaches Association. So I called up their president, Lindsay Arkin, who coordinated this presentation and deserves all the credit, along with a huge thank you. So thank you, Lindsay. And asked her if she could arrange for one of their coaches to provide a little pep talk. And before we get to that introduction, I just want to say that I'm speaking to you today from my office in Vancouver, Canada, about 2,000 miles away from Michigan. And we're going through the same thing up here, and it sucks. And because we all want to be around our teammates and just go out and compete. And I will say, though, that one of the best parts of my job is that I get to have conversations with hockey people from all levels and from all over the world every day. And everyone I talk to is frustrated and just wants to get back on the ice and see their players on the ice. But what has really stood out to me is all the efforts going on behind the scenes, both at the administrative level and team level, to navigate the challenges that COVID-19 has presented. And a lot of the work that is being done is by volunteers who, like you, are dealing with their own personal challenges at home with their family and in their professional lives or academic lives. And some of the stories I've heard have really inspired me. And that includes your coaches. And man, they care. I know they spent their Sunday afternoon on a Zoom call for a couple of hours trying to sort out the rest of the season and how to best support you guys. They know how hard you've all worked, and they just want to ensure that you and your teammates get to compete for a state championship, represent your schools, your communities, and showcase yourself to the next level. So I just want to acknowledge that all the hard work going on behind the scenes, and remind all of us, frankly, that if you get a chance to say thank you to someone who you know is doing their best to get you back on the ice, even if the results aren't always what we want them to be, that we need to take advantage of that opportunity because it's important. And the reason all of us got together today is to provide a reminder that we all need to keep our chin up and look out for each other. So on that note, I'm pleased to introduce our guest. This coach is a native of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and played his college hockey at Fair State University. And since we're talking to a high school crowd, it's worth noting that in 1997, he was named to the CCHA All-Academic Team. Following the completion of his collegiate playing career, he joined his alma mater as an assistant coach and would spend 10 years as an assistant coach with the Bulldogs and University of Miami Redhawks. He would then be named the head coach of the USHL's Indiana Ice, a position he would hold for 2 seasons before being appointed the head coach of Western Michigan University, where he would be named the top coach in college hockey in 2011. His next stop would include the Detroit Red Wings and later the Grand Rapids Griffins, the Wings American League affiliate, and he would post 3 consecutive 40-win seasons. Impressive. Internationally, he has represented USA Hockey at the U18 World Championships, World Junior Championships, and on 3 occasions has been named the head coach of Team USA at the World Ice Hockey Championship. It is my pleasure to welcome the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, Mr. Jeff Blashill.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate the opportunity to be on with everybody here. I've had too many opportunities to do these Zoom calls, but it has provided a great platform to speak to a number of groups, and certainly excited to speak to this group. Having spent a lot of time around high school hockey, having spent time recruiting in high school, and also give a shout out to my brother, Tim Blashill, who's the head coach of the Big Rapids Cardinals and his hockey team there. So a lot of connections. I've coached a number of players that have gone through and been in your shoes, and in one of which I'll talk about today. The one thing Aaron talked about that I can assure you we're all dealing with is the disruptions that this pandemic has caused. And certainly even at the NHL level, we're still in a situation where we don't know when our season's going to start. We're itching to get going. Yep, we haven't had the opportunity to yet. So, guys, I love opportunities to speak to young people. I'm going to speak to you all today about things that I think are really important. And I want to be clear, like, I'm not smarter than anybody on this call. There's a bunch of good coaches, bunch of young people that have real bright minds. But what I do have is perspective that's been gained through lots of experiences, and the experience that Aaron talked about. And I think through those experiences, you gain perspectives, and I'm going to share those perspectives with you, and you can decide what you think is relevant to your own lives and what's not. Give me a second here to share my screen. Okay, so what I want to speak to you about today is basically the reaching for greatness and what it takes to be great. And it's not applicable to just hockey. It's applicable to really anything in your life, whether it be school, hockey, whether it be when you get older in whatever professions you all choose, if it's outside of hockey, whether it be in groups you're involved in now. I think these are relative across the board and not just specific to hockey. I'll speak to a couple things real specific to hockey at the end, but for the most part, this is just my beliefs based on my perspectives I've gained on what it takes to be great. There's two areas in where I think that really are the biggest factors for individual success. And those two areas are inner drive and perseverance. I think those two factors dictate which people have great success and which ones don't. The first one, inner drive, is honestly nothing more than getting up and wanting it more than the next person. Getting up and choosing to outwork people. Getting up and having what I would call extraordinary work ethic. Those types of people that want to be the very, very best. And inner drive really shows when we're in situations like this where you're paused. Because inner drive is about who works when nobody's watching. It's easy to work when a coach is pushing you. It's easy to work at school when the teacher is pushing your parents are looking over your shoulders. That's not what dictates the ultimate success. What dictates the ultimate success is who's willing to work when no one's watching. And what I found over the last 6-7 months is this has been a bigger factor for people than ever before because you all can't get pushed to the same level that you're used to being pushed. So now you have to push yourself. And those of you that have this great inner drive, pauses like this will ultimately not have they will have no negative impact on your ultimate level of reaching your highest potential. When I used to recruit in college, to me, inner drive was the number one characteristic I looked for in individuals because I knew they would max out their potential, whatever that might be. During the early part of this pause, I got a chance to watch The Last Dance. And The Last Dance was a special, and I'm sure lots of you watched it. It was about the Chicago Bulls in their last championship season with Michael Jordan. And those that don't know, Michael Jordan is generally considered one of the best, probably the best basketball player of all time. So I want to play you a clip from The Last Dance on one of those shows.
He was very inconsistent as a freshman, but he's one of the most competitive ones we've ever had in our drills. He wanted to get better, and then he had the ability to get better.
Michael Jordan tells me one day he wants to be the best player that's ever played here. And I said, well, you got to work harder than you did in high school. He said, I worked as hard as everybody else. I said, oh, excuse me. I thought you just told me you want to be the best player to ever play here. He said, I'm going to show you. Nobody will ever work as hard as I work.
After about 2.5 hours of hard practice, I'm walking off the floor, like drenched, sweat, tired. And here comes Michael, like pushing me back on the floor, wanting to play a little one-on-one, wanting to see where his game was. I was better than he was for about 2 weeks. He wanted to learn, he wanted to grow quickly. From month to month, from game to game. He was soaking up information. Once he got something, he added it to the raw talent that he already had. It was really explosive to see. And by the time we got to the national championship game, he was a great player.
So Michael Jordan didn't go to North Carolina as the best player of all time. He didn't go to North Carolina as a freshman as the best player on his team. He became the greatest player of all time and the greatest player on his team through the work that he put in there. When he got to, just so you all know, James Worthy was a top 50 all-time NBA player. He's one of the best players to ever play. And he was better than Michael Jordan for about a week because of Michael's insatiable desire to become the very best, because the inner drive that he has to wake up every day and be better than somebody else. That's why he became the best, because of that inner drive. And ultimately, that inner drive will separate you all, especially, and that's in life. That's in life. But in hockey, and in terms of this year, especially during situations like we are in now, where you have this type of pause. Okay. The other factor in individual success that I think is critical is perseverance. And what perseverance is getting up when you get knocked down. When you fail, and you will fail in life if you try to do anything great. That's the reality of life. You will spend lots of different times failing. You failed, I might fail in a shift as a player. You're going to fail as a hockey team at different points. And it's not about whether or not you fail, because it's part of becoming great. It's about whether or not you get back up. And what I've learned being around the very best players in their professions is not only do those players get back up, but they get back up with their confidence intact. They get back up not at all embarrassed of the failure. They're not embarrassed of the failure because they're not worried about whether or not they failed. They're worried about how can they have the best growth mindset to take that failure and make them a better player, make them a better person, make them a better student. That's the way the best take it. They're comfortable in their own skin, and they're okay with failing because they know that's part of the journey to become the very best. I want to share with you a player who has sat in your shoes. So if I show you these stats right here, these are from his college career at the University of Michigan. If you look at those stats, you could go to almost any roster across the country, and you'd see stats real similar to these, to players that never played one game in the NHL. These are normal stats. These are pedestrian stats in terms of college hockey. This player has gone on to play 500 plus games. He's played his 500th game last year in the NHL, and he'll play 500 plus as he moves forward. Just so you all know what that means, what 500 games in the NHL means, what a great career he's already had. I just talked to the United States National Team Development Program, where theoretically the best 20 players in the country are on one team. And what history tells us with that one team is only 20% of those players will play 200 plus games in the NHL. This guy's played 500. Why? Because of great perseverance. Okay, so that's Luke Glendening, who, so you all know, as he was growing up, really nobody in the hockey world knew who Luke Glendening was. He played hockey in Grand Rapids, Michigan, ultimately played hockey for East Grand Rapids High School. He went from there. I actually got a call about him when I was in the United States Hockey League, and I didn't invite him to camp. He ended up going to play prep school out east, got a walk-on opportunity to come back to the University of Michigan because they were scouting another player on his team. He ended up becoming the captain at Michigan and had a fine career, as I showed. And we signed him to an American Hockey League contract with the Grand Rapids Griffins my first year in Grand Rapids. So that year was a lockout year. The NHL wasn't playing yet, so we had our own camp. So as we started camp, I was going to run camp through 5 days, and I was going to cut people on that fifth day. And they were going to go down to Toledo in the East Coast Hockey League. I cut Luke Glendening first. He was the first cut I had when it was time to make cuts. I didn't think he was good enough. I didn't think he had the skill set to succeed in the American Hockey League. So I sent him down right away. I never heard one word from him. I never heard one word from his parents. I never heard one word from his agent. Not to say that he wasn't disappointed or frustrated. He might have been all those things, but he didn't express it to me because that's out of his control. What he did do was go down to Toledo and start at the bottom of the totem pole there. He was the 10th forward out of 10 that you dress in the East Coast Hockey League. You can only dress 10, and he was 10th. And he just continued, as we kept knocking him down, he just kept getting back up. He kept getting back up. And next thing you know, within a month, I'm getting calls that I have to have him on the Griffins. He's playing too good for the league. He's got to come up. He ends up coming up playing for us, and within a year of that, he's playing in the National Hockey League and has now moved on to play 500 games in the National Hockey League, and will eclipse that as we move forward in the season. So here's a guy who sat in your shoes. Every young person on this call, he has sat in your shoes as a high school hockey player who everybody told wasn't good enough, who even at the highest level of pro hockey, I've told him he's not good enough. And he's been knocked down and knocked down and knocked down. And all he continues to do is get up. And that's why he has maxed his potential and become an NHL hockey player. So again, inner drive and perseverance. Those are by far, in my opinion, the two biggest factors in individual success. There's two I call them mottos here, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily mottos. They're more perspectives that anytime I talk to young people, I talk about. And to be honest with you, I've had it part of every hockey team I've ever been the head coach. And that's first, greatness is a daily choice. And I think it's really important for you guys to understand this, that greatness doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen to those people that are lucky. It doesn't happen by happenstance. It happens to those that make the choice on a daily basis. Greatness doesn't happen with one giant leap. Okay. When you wake up in the morning, you are either going to take steps that day towards greatness or you're going to take steps away from greatness, period. You're going one way or the other. That's the reality of life. So it's up to you when you wake up. You want to take those little steps towards greatness. And it's easy to take those steps on day one of your season. It's easy to take those steps when you're playing a game. But are you going to take those steps when you're in the middle of a pandemic and you're not allowed to practice as a group? Are you going to take those steps and wake up and say, what can I work on? What ways can I make myself better? That's what the best ones do. They just find ways that there's going to be no excuses and they're going to reach the very top of their game. I'm going to show you a video here of two great players in our league. And this wouldn't be a big deal if this video was during the season, but this is video from the summer. And I want you guys to understand that this is how hard these players compete in a summer skate, because they want to make sure that they continue to either be the best or become the best. This is Sidney Crosby. Okay, this is Sidney Crosby and Brad Marchand battling in the middle of the summer. Watch how hard they compete with each other. They're not winning the Stanley Cup that night. They're not winning a playoff game that night. It's a summer skate in the middle of the summer. But they know that the choice they make that day in July, that day in August, is going to dictate whether or not they continue to be great. And that's two of the very best players in the league. The other perspective that I believe in is a perspective called earn this. Earn this is a philosophy. I first got it by watching the movie Saving Private Ryan. And when I watched that movie, at the end of that movie, Tom Hanks says to Matt Damon's character, earn this. And what I took from that was when you wake up in the morning, you can kind of look at life one of two ways. You can either look at life and kind of think you're getting screwed a little bit. All the chips fall against you. Life isn't necessarily fair. Or you can look at life and you can say, man, what great opportunities I have ahead of me today. And again, as we sit here in the situation we're in, how you look at the perspective you have when you wake up in the morning is going to dictate the type of success you have. You have to, in my opinion, if you want to be great, you wake up and look at these days as great opportunities. Whatever it is, I've got great opportunities in my life. I'm going to earn those opportunities every day I wake up. I then came upon this video, and this is Tom Brady. It's about Tom Brady from the Brady Six, which was a special that was a number of years ago. It talked about the 6 quarterbacks that got drafted ahead of Tom Brady. And we all know Tom Brady as one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time. But Tom Brady, when he was at the University of Michigan, never was even really the sole starter. He started games. He split with other guys. He was the backup through a period of time. He went through tons of trials and tribulations when he was at the University of Michigan before he became known as the best or one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Listen to his words.
A decade into his career, the The man taken with pick 199 has achieved it all, but still feels he has plenty to prove.
It's not really a chip on my shoulder. It's just that feeling that, man, maybe nobody wants you. When I watch myself play at times, I still don't think I'm very good. Man, you're still not very fast. You know, you got a decent arm. You know, you made some pretty bad reads on that day. That's what gets me up and motivates me. I always want to feel like I'm the best quarterback for this team. I want to earn it every single day.
So in our league, it's easy to become entitled. It's easy to feel like you're entitled for your spot in the league, that you're entitled to wear the jersey, that you're entitled to the playing time you get, that you're entitled to the specialty time you get. But the reality of life is you're not entitled to anything. You earn what you get in life. That's the reality of it. In the minute in our league that you start thinking that you're entitled to those things, the league runs you over. The next thing you know, you don't have those same opportunities you once had. You're not a power play player anymore. You're out of the league. You don't get an opportunity to wear the jersey because you went from having an earn this mentality to an entitled mentality. And it's the same at every level, everywhere. If you have an earn this mentality on your team, you're going to keep your power play time, or you're going to earn more power play time. Your team is going to earn more success. You get what you earn in life, period. And the minute you think things are owed to you, all of a sudden life is not going to go well for you. And that's the reality of it. So those are two huge perspectives we've had on every locker room. I've had painted on every locker room of any team I've ever coached. Greatness is a daily choice, and make sure you live with an earn this mentality. I want to talk to you about a couple things a little more specific to hockey before wrapping up with one slide and taking questions. So one of the things I think is important is, if as a player, when I speak to lots of players, they ask me, how do I make it in college? How do I make it in junior? How do I make it in the NHL? The reality is most players at the level they're at aren't good enough that day to make it to the next level. They got to get better. They got to find a way to get better. So if we accept that as a fact that we got to get better, one of the things that you have to do as players is accept coaching. Understand that all coaches are trying to do is to get the very best out of you. Sometimes it might feel like they're hard on you. Sometimes it might feel like they're telling you stuff all the time. But at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is trying to get the very best out of every individual player. I have what I believe, what I've seen through time is 3 stages of coaching. And I say them to you so you can recognize it. Okay, the first stage in coaching is players get their back up. They get really defensive, and they're not willing to listen. They think they're getting screwed. They think they're getting picked on. And as a result of that, they don't take in any of the coaching at all. And guys, at that point, it's impossible to get better. How can you get better if you're not willing to be coached? It just doesn't happen that way. Okay, the other stage that players go through is what I call listen, learn, and melt. So they listen to everything. They think about everything the coach is saying to them, and what happens to them is they melt. They lose their confidence. When you get coached, a lot of times you're going to get told what you do well, but you're also going to get told when you don't do things well. And when that happens over and over again, a lot of people let it affect them and they lose their confidence. And what they do is they go on the ice, and instead of playing with their instincts and what they think is right, they are thinking all the time, what does the coach want me to do here? And that is no way to play hockey. The ones that thrive is listen, learn, and thrive. And they thrive because they're willing to accept the information. They're willing to take the coaching and learn to be better. But when they go on the ice, they do what they think is right. Because when they go back to the bench, they know they're going to get coached and they're going to listen to it. And they go back on the ice and they do what they think is right in that situation, and they keep their confidence up real high throughout the whole process. That's what the best players do. Copy what the best ones do. The other thing I get asked lots is, how can I get more ice time? How do I earn trust? Or how do I get more ice time, I should say? You get more ice time by earning trust. That's the reality. If a coach trusts you on the ice, he's going to play you more. And then the more you play, the better chance you have to exhibit your skill set. So how do you earn trust? First, become a complete player. Understand you got to play from both sides of the puck. I don't care how good a scorer you are. If you don't play from both sides of the puck, your team most likely isn't going to win in the end. The Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup this year. One of the reasons they won the Stanley Cup this year is because their best players committed to playing 200 feet of good, solid two-way hockey in order to win. They had been embarrassed the year before with an early loss in the first round, and they made adjustments to their game to become all really good two-way players, especially their best players. When players come up to play for me in Detroit, coming from Grand Rapids in the American League, if they want ice time, they got to earn my trust right away. They got to do it by playing from the D side of the puck, stopping on pucks, managing the pucks and not turning them over. Okay, the other way to earn trust is in your make a difference plays. So can you bring momentum with physical one-on-one battles? Do you win faceoffs on a consistent basis? If you're a winger and you get the puck on the wall, do you turn it over when the D pinches, or are you able to protect it and help get it out of the zone? Do you block shots? How is your work ethic? How is your compete every day? Those are the ways that you ultimately earn the coach's trust. There isn't a coach in the world that doesn't want to play the best players. He believes the best players are the ones that are going to help them win, not just put points up, not just make fancy plays, not just skate fast. Who's going to help the coach win? That's the players he's going to put on the ice. If you earn the trust, you're going to play more. Okay. The other thing that I think is real important is learning what you can do better than other people. So are you the most elite offensive player at your level? Or can you be a complimentary forward? Are you great at faceoffs? Are you a great defender? Can you be a net front specialist where you learn how to tip pucks in? All those things can help add to more ice time, and that's how you end up ultimately getting better. Okay, I want to end with this video. It's one I ran across that I think is really important, and I want to speak about it quick before taking questions.
But man, if you can get this mindset into you, if you can get this into you, the advantage and the edge you are going to have for the rest of your life is significant. The skill set this can give you, and it's this. If there's an outcome you want in your life that you are currently not getting, the answer is because you're not good enough, or you just haven't tried. You are good enough, you just haven't done it yet. You give me the question, I already know the answer. You give me the excuse, I already know the answer. Give me the rebuttal, I already know the answer. You give me the constraints, I already know the answer. It doesn't matter, get better. Yeah, but this guy over here doesn't trust me. What's the answer? It doesn't matter, get better. We were last in the conference last year. You were first in the conference last year. Like, as soon as you get away from getting better, that's where things start to go like this. And so you can look at that and you can just let go of all relief and be like, man, if I was good enough, I would have got the outcome. It doesn't matter, get better.
So if there's an outcome you want in life that you're not currently getting, it means it's because you're not good enough. So it doesn't matter what it is, get better if you want to change the outcome. And I think that's a critical message. Like, there is no excuses in life. People that make excuses ultimately don't reach the pinnacle of success. They just don't. They allow excuses to get in the way of the understanding that they have to continuously improve, that they have to have a growth mindset, that they want to continue to improve. And those that have that growth mindset are the ones that ultimately reach the pinnacle of success in whatever career they choose, in school, in hockey, as groups or as individuals. So I think that part's super critical. So if I could just end before I take questions here in saying again, like, the times like this totally show the character of people. And these aren't easy times. These are frustrating times. I will tell you, frustration is a total waste of human emotion. You get zero out of frustration. Frustration doesn't help you in any way. So get rid of the frustration and find solutions. How can I become better every single day? And those of you that have that great inner drive, those of you that are willing to get up and outwork other people, that's going to shine through today more than ever because of the parameters that are in place and because of the lack of ability to really push people. So I would implore you to make sure you're getting up in the morning and you're outworking people on a daily basis. So without anything more, guys, I'd be willing to answer questions. I think, Aaron, you have some questions that were sent in, and I'd be willing to answer those for sure.
Yeah, you betcha. Coach, that was great. Lots of juice. I think I speak for everybody on the call here that, man, can't wait to get back in a quarter and fight for a puck. So first off, just all the players that submitted questions, tons of great ones. I did my best to sift through them. Unfortunately, we don't have time to get to them all. I'm going to pick a few here that are applicable and maybe starting with Nathan Kakuri. And if I don't say your name correctly, I apologize. He is from Bloomfield Hills High School. Bit of a topical question. How does playing with no fans affect players?
It's an interesting question, and one that, as I sit here today, I can only answer based on the information I was given, because we haven't done it yet. And, you know, in terms of the National Hockey League, what I would tell you is, you probably watched the NHL playoffs. I watched the NHL playoffs. They were as passionate as I've ever seen it. The fans, without a shadow of a doubt, give you unbelievable energy in the building. They're extraordinarily important to pro sports, without any shadow of a doubt. But when you're in these super competitive situations, I think it still comes down to wanting it more than the next person. That the competitive juices that get flowing from that are critically important. And I think those come out regardless of who's watching and who's not. I'll tell you a quick story. Ted Lindsay, the great Detroit Red Wing player who just passed away in the last year and a half. Ted Lindsay said to me once, I was getting ready for training camp, and he said to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting ready for training camp." He said, "You tell those players one thing. If they go in the corner with another player and they don't come out with the puck, they're a horse crap hockey player." But he didn't say crap. So it still comes down to those competitive juices, those one-on-one battles that really matter the most.
That's great. This next question comes from Isaac Gibbs from Novi Varsity Hockey. As a coach, what is the most important thing a player can do to be successful, be it attitude-wise or having to do with his abilities?
Yeah, I would say, again, I just think the want to continuously improve, and the willingness to continuously work at your game to get better at things. And so I think that's the number one part of attitude. Now, the one thing I didn't speak about that is, when I recruited people to college, we wanted character first. But we defined character. And I talked about some of those things, the inner drive, the competitiveness. But one of the things I didn't talk about was the importance of selflessness. And I always define selflessness as wanting team success equal to that of individual success. I think it's a little bit of a fallacy to say that you'd want team success more than your own success. All of us want to be important. We all want to be part of the team to have great success. But it's really important that you care about team success equal to that. And the biggest example I would tell recruits when they came in my office was, if you're a player and for whatever reason you have a bad night and maybe I bench you, but we win in overtime, are you happy? And if you're not happy, I don't want you on my team. If you're happy, understanding that just wasn't your night, but the team still won, that's the guys that I want. So I think selflessness is part that I hadn't spoke about that I think is extremely important for every single coach, because they know ultimately it's the collective group that's got to win. The one thing that's special about hockey is one player cannot make a big enough impact to carry a whole team. You need the team to win, and that's been proven time and time again.
That's awesome. And I love this next question. And I think there'll be some great insight for the coaches here. This comes from TJ Habeletter from Mona Shores High School. And he asks, how should my team and I go about becoming more vocal on the ice?
That's a good question. And it's a problem that we face in the National Hockey League. I got a chance. Chris Chelios was on my staff for a number of years when I was in Grand Rapids and when I first came to Detroit. And he would lament to me that players don't talk enough anymore, that players don't speak to each other anymore. One of the best guys that we had here recently retired, and Nick Cronwell, he would speak and help the other players in the ice so much by how much he talked. And it's critically important. Like, you think about if you're going back for a puck and somebody can tell you where to go, they're the eyes for you. They're the eyes in the back of your head that you don't have. The communication that goes on between players when it's great is awesome. So how can you get better at it? Your practice habits become game reality. That's the fact. So however you practice, that's what's going to show up in a game. So if you talk in practice, you'll talk in a game. And you might even need to talk to a level that almost seems laughable, where you're almost yelling. And I've said to our guys, I want the people in the top row to be able to hear you. And if you yell like that all the time in practice, That's how it happens in a game. And it sounds simple, but it's the reality of it. In every situation, when you want to pass, calling for that pass loud, when your partner's going back for a breakout, letting him know what pressure he's under. When you're in D zone and you're trying to break the puck out, letting him know you're open, whatever it might be, make sure you're screaming in practice.
That's great advice. Little shout out to the goalies here. This is from Braden Forche from Saginaw Heritage High School. What would be the most important foundation drills for goalies?
It's been a few years since I've worked with goalies. I was a goalie myself, albeit not a very good one at Ferris State. But I did work with our goalies when I coached college, when I coached junior, and then at times in the American League. And what I learned through coaching goalies is how valuable simple, repetitive drills are that they do over and over again. What I just said about your practice habits becoming game reality, that's the exact thing with goaltending. Like you're either training yourself to do it right or you're training yourself to do it wrong. So even simple things like making sure that you follow each rebound. A shot gets taken in practice, it goes to corner, get up on the proper foot, make sure that you're moving in that same direction, because then you're training your muscle memory to do that in games. Ultimately, I think the ability to eliminate rebounds is critical. So that's the ability to use your stick. The ability for pucks to almost suck to your or stick to your body as they come in your body cavity, I think is super critical. The ability to put your gloves in position where they have to beat you in order to score. What you want to do as a goaltender is you want to become so good in your technique that you're going to stop 90% of the pucks just because of positioning, because of how you fill the net. And if you do that, then your athleticism might take over. Now you might stop an extra, 3%. Next thing you know, you're at 93%. And you're one of the best goalies at your level. So I think making sure that your technique's great, that you fill net great, and that you're eliminating those rebounds is critical.
This next question comes from Eli Reimer from Mid-Michigan Marauders. And, maybe take you back, Jeff, to your days coaching junior hockey and obviously college hockey as well. How do you determine if a junior team is a good fit for you? And what are some of the ways you can market yourself as a player besides reaching out to coaches and attending main camps?
The market yourself, let's talk to first. The best way to market yourself is continual improvement. That's the best way. And I know that sounds, and I know there's people on the call, well, I know, but I want to make sure people know who we are. The best players always have a way of getting found. So keep getting better, keep improving. I know some players go out and they spend all summer going to showcase camps and they're trying to market themselves through doing that. But what they're losing in that is they're losing the improvement that they could gain by doing skill work, by doing weight training, by doing all those things. And next thing you know, they're not a better player in the fall than they were in the spring. And that totally defeats the purpose. So I think one of the biggest things is making sure that you make yourself a better player. Now, when you get to a point where you're trying to help make the decision whether or not a junior team, a college team, those types of things are good fits, I would say first, who's the decision maker? Is the coach the decision maker? And if he is, has he seen you play? Does he know your game? It's great if a scout comes in and likes you as a player, but in the end, that coach has to like you because he's the one putting you on the ice, or the GM has to like you because he's the one putting you on the team. So I think finding out how much the coach, and that doesn't mean the coach that they don't trust their scouts. When I coach college, I can't go out and see everybody. So I totally trusted my recruiters, but you got to find out what their relationship is. And does the coach really know what he's getting in you? Does he know the type of player you are? Now, try to get the best feel you can for that, because ultimately you want to make sure they're taking you because they love who you are as a player, not what they think you are. Make sure they know who you are.
This next question from Drew Johnson from Hudsonville. What is the best advice you have for a team to become like a family and push each other over the edge to get better every single day?
There's a big piece of that to me that's organic, meaning it just happens. And I don't know that you can force those types of relationships. There's a lot of things that happen with team building. And I think there's there's a positive quality to some team building exercises, but I also think you can't force that stuff. it has to happen organically enough times. And a lot of times where it happens is through struggle. That struggle might be how hard your practices are. There might be completing runs off the ice. Like we used to have to run in college all the time, and we bonded through that. It might be struggle through, going through difficult periods of time. It might just be through the positivity of practice. I think in the end, the most important thing is that each teammate has that selfless approach that I talked about. And I think if you have that selfless approach, then you care more about the team. And if you care about the team and you have that common purpose, man, you're going to do great things. And that's again, if you said to me, what's the magic pill for team success? It's that. It's having a common purpose where you have a group of people who are selfless, that are interested in the greater good. And if you have that, it's going to be a really cool experience.
That's great. And Jeff, this is the last one, and it's a good one. Gavin Cunningham from the GH/SL Buccaneers. What has been your most memorable moment as an NHL coach?
That's a really good question. I've had an unbelievable opportunity to do lots of neat things. Whether it be here in Detroit at the World Championships, I've coached some great players. Had a chance to coach Nick Lindstrom, had a chance to coach Patrick Kane, had a chance to coach Pavel and Hank, and the list goes on. I have a chance to coach now really good young players. They're all real special moments. I think when I drove in for my press conference in Detroit and I drove past Joe Louis Arena, and the fact that building had been an iconic building in growing up. I grew up in Sault Ste. Marie. I was born in Detroit. I was a Red Wing fan my whole life. I just think that moment of when I drove by and realized I was going to be the head coach of the team that I grew up cheering for was a really, really cool thing. And it's something I'll always cherish, and something that even thinking about that moment now sends chills down my spine.
That's awesome. Well, definitely a Michigan boy through and through, Jeff. And first off, want to thank you for making time and not just coming on, but making that presentation. I think it was super impactful and obviously very timely and I think well received by all the players. Also want to thank Lindsay Arkin and the NHL Coaches Association for making this possible. To all the coaches in the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. I know that all of you have been putting in extra hours trying to facilitate a season for your players. And for all the players, if you're tuning in, it means you care. It means you want to get better. And that's what we all got to try and do. And obviously, those are the same sentiments that Jeff has passed on today. And finally, just to everybody, stay safe and be well as we get through this. We will get through this. And I think we all look forward to hockey resuming, and in particular in the Detroit area with what appears to be a very young and exciting up and coming team in the Detroit Red Wings.